Welcome, everybody. I think the question tonight is teenagers. How can we kill them and where can we bury their bodies? Very important. I want to talk a little bit about the teenage brain here and how normal it actually is and how normal their behavior is. They are not weird. The study of the brain, neuroscience, has come a long way in the last few decades because of the MRI machine. This allows us to see live views of how the brain grows and what changes it makes. We were never able to do this before. We always thought that the brain stopped growing when the children sort of got a little bit big, but it actually grows continuously through adolescence. The brain grows in different parts. Your prefrontal cortex is the last part of your brain to grow. This gives you your judgment, your impulse control, your decision making. That is the last one. That grows up to the age of 24. 21 in girls, but obviously we're way ahead of you men, so it's normal. When we talk about the brain, we talk about the neuroplasticity of the brain. That is the way that it can absorb information and change. It allows children to learn incredibly well. They are like sponges. So little ones particularly actually, but teens as well. So they will learn throughout their whole teenage years, absorb information, be able to transfer information, be able to keep memories. It is a very powerful time of the teenage years. When we hit our age, we've had it. We're way past that now. Another thing which we think about teens as well with their learning is they take incredible risks. They won't think. Remember, they're not using their prefrontal cortex. It is not there yet. They don't have the decision making. There's a chasm, an cognitive chasm there between an idea that they have and can they actually put it into practice and will it work. So you'll often see that in teens that they cannot perform like that. This neuroplasticity and the use of this brain that we actually don't have yet, this prefrontal cortex, gives rise to a lot of addiction because it sets down sensitivities in our brain when we cannot think. And later on, the children have a lot of problems. Alcohol, for instance. Alcohol blocks the synapses from sending signals to the brain. It is very bad for teens. It kills brain cells. As it kills adults' brain cells, it kills teens' brain cells. Better not to have this until our brains develop properly. Same with marijuana. Long-term effect on memory. It affects their memory, their learning, their language, a lot of issues with marijuana, and the kids take to it very early in the years, not to be done before the brain has actually developed up until the age of 24. So this not having logic and planning, your brain, they use a part called the amygdala and the hippocampus, and we call it the sex, drugs, and rock and roll part of the brain. A lot of adults use it, I think, as well, all day, every day. But this part of the brain stops the children from thinking logically and actually can affect them when it comes to suicide. We have high suicide rates because of the brain not working correctly. This also, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll part of the brain is used in sexual activities. They don't have the correct moral thinking, the appropriate moral behavior, because their planning brain is not there. So they make rash and hash decisions about things. So children think with their feelings. Think about feelings, use feelings for feelings, emotions for emotions. They don't think logically. Think of it when you lose your keys. You go into the kitchen, you look for it, you go around the house, you come back to the kitchen and look for it, go around the house, come back. You'll come back to the kitchen 5 times. They are not there. You're using your emotions, you're not using your logic. And this is the way the teens think. Another thing which you see with teenagers, they want to rush out there and save the world. To them, they've got these passions and it's just, they want to just save everybody. It's great, planning not there once again, so they actually are not mechanically able to carry on with these ideas. They get involved with it, but they can't see it through. By this time in a teen's life, he thinks his brain's going haywire. Parents, we know they're going haywire really, but actually it's rewiring of the brain through these years so that they become functional adults. They need to experience life, they need to experience social experiences, they need to fail. This is the way that they learn. This rewiring of the brain happens at a time in a teen's life that we hate. They sleep till midday, they sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we cannot get them out of bed. This rewiring of your brain actually happens when you sleep. So the fact that your teenager is sleeping till midday is fine, just leave him. I just want to touch a little bit on technology. Everybody wants to know how technology affects teens' brains. It does. They are bombarded 8 hours a day. Computers, laptops, social media, TV. It is just coming at them at some incredible speed. Perfect families, perfect looks, perfect boyfriends, perfect girls, perfect bodies. It increases their attention, it increases and lowers their, it increases their ability to be influenced by this. They take wrong choices in their life. It is very bad. They definitely need guidance for something like this. It is a huge impact on them. So how do we guide our teens? How do we help them? That's the big question. What we can do is we can teach teens how incredible their brains are. That they at a time, in fact, they're the first generation really, where they can learn exactly how their brain works. They have the information and the technology to see how their brain works. It is amazing. We would never be able to do that in our age. So that's how we can help our teens. And us, well, if you're over 30, it's a downhill slippery slope for you. You're going to soon be sucking on boiling sweets and knitting all day, because your brain grows up to the age of 24. 24 to 28, that is when it peaks. After 30, it is believed that our ability to think on our feet, recall information, declines every year. Finally, love your teens. Hide the weapons, put away the thoughts of murder, at least until they're about 28. Thanks very much.